In the past year, I've got married, I've hit my small business revenue goals, I've over doubled the amount of quality time I've spent with my friends and family, and so much more. Honestly, setting yourself up for real lasting success is a multi-step process and it's taken some years to figure out. And while there are so many methods out there, I want to share with you guys the one that has worked for me as somebody who has a hard time sticking to goals. I am not the kind of person who's going to sit down and be like, then do all the goals. Like, I'm a very let's go about this in a very calm and realistic manner, while also sprinkling in a little bit of delusion in there too. That always helps. With 2025 just around the corner, I know that this could be our year. I know this could be our year. So let's dive into setting yourself up for success in the new year. The first thing I have to mention is the problem with traditional resolutions. I think a lot of people are so used to the idea of a resolution being kind of like one big ticket item. I think a lot of people kind of go with become more fit or get into exercise more. So it tends to be a common one that I see. Other resolutions can be around, trying to get married or get engaged, reach the next step in your career, get a promotion, things like that. And while those resolutions do work for some people, all too well, do we know the stories of people who pretty much fall off after March? And then they get to the end of the year and it's like, really, what do you actually do that year? Because you didn't actually do the resolution that you thought you were going to do or that you wanted to do. So we need a better approach. We need a better approach because that's just not working. Before we dive into it too much, my name is Crystalline, but you can call me Krys, and we chat all things mind, body, and planet on this corner of the internet. So I hope you stick around for more videos like this. So what do I do instead of creating this I'm going to call it unrealistic resolution? What I do for every year is I find a word that I want to define my following year. And then I kind of move from there. So this past year, my word was growth 2024 because I knew that I was going to get married and I felt like there was just a lot of personal growth that I needed to focus on in 2024. So going into 2025, usually what I'll do is I will write down just a quick list of words that come to mind and I just let them sit for a little while. And then eventually one will kind of stick out more than the rest. And that will be the word that I will set as my defining word for the following year. Previous words that I've used is abundance, connection. Another one that I've used in the past is finding, and that was actually 2020. So with the pandemic and everything, I do feel like finding was a good word for me in that time because I was trying to find who I was. And I do feel like at the end of the year, I did figure that out. I was a little bit closer to figuring out what I wanted my life to look like at that time. But the words that you can choose are endless, really. I mean, from courage to bravery to adventure to loving to companionship to relationships to, honestly, really, the words are endless. I could keep going on and on and on. One of the ways that you can figure out what your defining word for the year will be is by understanding and knowing your why, your motivation behind what you're doing. It is so easy to just be like, I want to exercise 3 times a week. Sure. Great. I'm so glad that you want to do that. But why? Why do you want to do that? Is it because you want to become more flexible? Is it because you want to feel more in control of your body? There are so many whys that can fall behind why you would want to work out 3 times a week. And they're all different. They're all going to be so different. We're going to stick with the exercising example. I do feel like that is a pretty popular one. If you want to work out 3 times a week and your reason is because you want to feel more in control of your body, I think the way you exercise 3 times a week can look extremely different, from stretching and mobility work to joining a community class to finding people who can hold you accountable and keep you motivated in times where motivation is probably lacking. If your goal to exercise 3 times a week is because you want to become more flexible or because you want to, get your splits, then that's going to be completely different types of exercise than anything else. Maybe you want to do more yoga. Maybe you need to do nightly stretching whenever you're watching your nightly TV show. Now, these are all examples, but can you understand why just saying one blanket statement resolution of I want to exercise 3 times a week can really not be a true description of your real resolution behind that goal. So starting with your why is such a big part of setting yourself up for success. So dive into your personal motivation. What are some of the things that you really want? For some of us, we may need to like take a 10-minute session and just journal it out. For some of us, maybe we just need to sit with the thoughts for a little while, write a bullet point list. I'm not a journaler, but I do love lists. So maybe I'll write a little list and that'll get me closer into figuring out my why. Finding your why is what's going to help you connect your goals to your core values. So then your goals become part of who you are as a person and not just these random goals that actually don't have much meaning for you. Okay, now that you know your why, we're going to move into my favorite method for writing goals, which is the 2-2-2 method. This is also a method I use if I'm having any sort of like internal crisis. I always go back to this. You think about your goals for the next 2 years, the next 2 months, and the next 2 days. So you're kind of going from a very long-term goal to a very, I don't know, medium-term goal, 2 months, to a short-term goal, which is the next 2 days. I also feel like 2 years feels a little bit more approachable than the common 5 or 10-year goals. Like for me, when I think 5 years down the road, or if I think 10 years down the road, it's too far. I don't really know what I want. But if I think about the next 2 years, then I am more likely to have solid goals or like a long-term vision that I'm trying to achieve within the next 2 years. And they're not goals that you can complete within 24 hours. They're going to take a little bit more time, a little bit more energy, maybe a little bit more planning. Goals that I think would fit under the 2-year mark would be things like getting married, adopting a dog, maybe becoming a better gardener, getting a promotion at work, maybe finding a new job falls under that category as well. Those are all things that can happen within the 2-year range, but they're going to take a little bit more time, a little bit more planning, more energy as in general is going to have to go into those. For your 2-month goals, those are going to be more medium energy, medium effort. They're going to take some time and effort, but not to the extent that 2 years is going to take. 2-month goals are going to be things like maybe finding a new hobby, getting in a new habit, or finding a new routine, trying to incorporate more whole foods and vegetables into your everyday eating. Or maybe your goals fall more in the relationship category of spending more quality time with the people that you love. These are all the kinds of goals that I think fall more into the 2-month. For the 2-day, these are very short-term goals. You can complete these in 24 hours if you put a little fire under your ass and you get to it. Those like top of mind things you just gotta get off of your head. If I really feel like my world is spinning when I'm doing this, I start with the 2-day. I cross off all like the little kind of baby tasks like doing laundry, vacuuming, unloading the dishwasher, harvesting vegetables from my garden. You know, like the little things that kind of like itch at your brain that prevent you from thinking further ahead because you need to finish the ones that are more close, more imminent, more right in front of you. I do go more in depth into the 2-2-2 method and also exercises on finding your why in my routine reset, which is available on my website. I will link it below for anybody interested. It's a 5-day email challenge, so you can kind of tailor it to whenever you have the availability and kind of break it down into more manageable bite-sized pieces rather than feeling like you have to do it all at once. It also comes with my Notion little hub with extra exercises on time management, time planning, time blocking. I created it because I was feeling like I needed a way to reset my routines in a way that felt manageable and actually set me up to enjoy and actually do the routines that I was writing down for myself. So once I kind of got that all situated and figured out, I figured why not release it to you guys? Because if I found value in it, you guys might too. You can find the refresh and renew routine reset linked down below. This 2-2-2 method of goal setting has honestly changed the game for me. It makes setting up my 2025 way more manageable. I'll be honest, way more manageable. If we don't have a vision of what we want in the future, it makes it really hard to know what the next step is moving forward. So being able to break it down into like the 2-day, the 2-month, and the 2-year goals and vision of what we want that life to look like, and also tying it back to our why and why we do what we do and why we want these sort of goals in the first place, and understanding what those core values are, the more likely you're actually able to stick to those goals because they are now tied to your values as a person and not just these lofty goals that just seem so unapproachable and unachievable. I want to end this video with addressing motivation, because motivation when it comes to goals is like it's gonna dip. It's just inevitable that we're gonna have days, weeks, maybe even months where our motivation is really low just by factors that we can't control that happen in our life. In those instances, I want to tell you that it is okay. It's okay to take the time to go back into those goals and readjust them based on what's happening in your life at that time. I like to go back every couple of months and just look at my goals, see how they're doing, see if there's anything I need to adjust. Maybe I hit them earlier than I thought I was going to. So then sometimes I write more. Maybe the goals that I thought were 2-month goals end up becoming 2-year goals. And in those cases, I adjust where needed as well. Holding yourself accountable by creating things like vision boards that you look at every single day. Maybe you put it as your computer back screen or your phone lock screen. Physically writing down the goals and maybe putting them on a sticky note on your computer so you see it every day, or on your planner. If you're a digital person, maybe creating events in your Google Calendar is something, so you can see that you have a goal that you're trying to hit by X date and you can see that date on your calendar. So it's a good reminder of that you want to hit this goal by that day, or even sharing with a close friend that these are the goals that you have for 2025, and exchanging and kind of holding each other accountable in that way is helpful as well. I hope that 2025 is all that you want it to be and more. If you like this video, please give it a like, give it a little thumbs up. You can subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and leave a comment below what your word for 2025 is so we can all share those together. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!